Hey, Facebook, can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me on Facebook? Hope you can. So we're doing our, like we said last time, we're doing our second Monday caregiver check-in from the car, because hey, can you guys let me know if you can hear me on Facebook? Because I'm scared the car noise is too loud. Can someone like give a shout out and just let me know? We had problems last time too, because evidently people were commenting on our Facebook post and we weren't getting the comments. I don't know why we weren't getting comments on there. So if someone could like send me, like if you guys could like, can you guys hit the like button on Facebook real quick and just let us know that you're seeing this? Hello, like us. I see that people are watching and I'm excited that you're watching. If you could, let me check and make sure that that's working right, because this isn't going to work if we aren't getting notifications here. Okay, so we are. All right, so it looks like we should be able to get comments this week on Facebook if you're watching. So please comment. And YouTube also, if you're watching on YouTube. Okay, so Chelsea's saying she's got, it's kind of skippy and it's skipping around. We're going to try. I think we might be in a bad area. Yep. So we'll see here. We're going to try to get connected back. How's YouTube doing? We have chat on YouTube. So you guys are able to chat with us too. We're just going to try to get Facebook, because there were folks watching us on Facebook. We're going to try to reconnect to them and see if we can get back with them. And we'll see here if we can. Are we skipping Twitter this week? We're skipping Twitter this week just because I'm not sure everything.
Use the other phone then to look at Facebook comments if you're not getting them on there.
If we're, yeah, maybe I'll look at the other one. So, Margie, tell them where we were at, if you can speak loud enough.
Well, they'll have to let you know if they can hear you. We were at Universal Studios in Orlando celebrating Darren's birthday, early birthday. Should I tell him which birthday it is?
You can tell him which birthday it is. Just don't hold it against me.
He's going to be 40.
40. And tell him why we went.
Because we had about 7 months of pretty much no alone time.
All right, let's see here. We'll try to get the folks on Facebook back there, and I'll let them know. So yeah, so one thing that we wanted to talk about on the live feed today was that we wanted to talk about, we actually have some folks that are wanting to talk about a topic about, we have our first foster placement survival kits on our website, and there are a bunch of people that asked about them, and they're trying to join in on Facebook, I believe. So I'll see if they join in with us again. If they do, I want to talk about that with them. But one thing we wanted to talk about real quick was, because we did go on this trip to Universal Studios. Margie and I really like the parks, and we like going to the parks. So that's something that's a lot of fun for us. But one thing we wanted to talk about was just how are you guys doing with self-care? I mean, that's something that people bring up all the time when you're doing foster care, is how you're doing with self-care. And what is that, Margie, what does that mean for self-care? Is that pretty self-evident?
Yeah, and it's kind of different in different situations and different for everybody. But basically, if you're caring for yourself, you know, like with the airlines, they say put on your oxygen mask first. You can't help somebody else until you help yourself. If you've gotten to the, you know, what's your breaking point? When is that point when, you know that you're getting too short and snippy, or little things are really bothering you, or you're just not being able to be as therapeutic with your kids as you would like, then that's a good tip, good clue that you need some self-care. You need to be taking care of yourself so that you have the energy, the emotional strength to pour into kids that have been through hard things.
So one thing is we just had, like Margie was saying, we just recently had some placements in our home. And we really weren't able to take time for ourselves to go out. So this was an early birthday present for us to go, for us to travel and go. Hasn't been, I mean, it took some work. Like, we had to find people to watch our children. We had to find, and we have 4 kids from foster care. So it's not normal care that we can't just ask anyone to do it. So it's actually it's work that we have to do to actually find and be able to get away and have that time for ourselves. So I want you guys just to, as we're talking, can you just like comment or post or whatever about where do you go for self-care? What do you do for self-care? It doesn't have to be extravagant, like going to another state and going to an amusement park or going on a cruise or something like that. But what do you do for self-care? Like, how do you find that time? But Margie actually just wrote about that. Like, it's a sacrifice, like sacrificial. Hey, you guys, I see people are back on Facebook. We're going to get to, if it's our Southern Illinois folks, we want to get to the topic you guys want to talk about. But let me know that you are watching, so I make sure that I talk about it while you're watching. But what did you mean, like, when you were talking about in your blog that self-care sacrifice or something phrased like that?
Well, during those really tough 6 months of our last placements, it was getting to that point where we found that we were not being therapeutic. We were really struggling. We were more or less just surviving. We weren't really helping the kids thrive. And we just got to a point that said, you know what, we need to play with the budget. We need to sacrifice, cut wherever we can so that we can put in some childcare so that after school we have some help with homework and getting chores done and just helping the kids kind of in those after school hours to keep us from having to do some of that so we can a little bit more on individuals find kids and helping them through some of their difficulties.
And Chelsea, I want to stop. Chelsea actually chimed in on Facebook. She said that she walks around Target alone for self-care. That's awesome. That's amazing self-care. Because that's like, you just have fun, like walking through the aisles and like, even if you can't buy anything, it's just kind of fun to look at the stuff like that you think you might be able to buy eventually. Like, and I think for you, like the alone time too, of not having people yelling or something, like, just being able to think and not have people like poking, prodding, screaming at you is fun too, right?
Yeah. We were talking about it with someone today, actually, about they had said that they'd gone a long road trip and just in silence without the radio and stuff. And I was saying that I had done something too during that time where I had been driving and I didn't put the radio on, didn't have anything, like any noise, had the cell phone off, just silent for about 3 hours, and just not have someone saying, he's touching me, she's in my space, or like having a meltdown or anything else. It was just silent for like 3 hours.
I think people have to realize that they're worth it. Have to realize that they're worth it, because I think we kind of want to be like, save the world. Like, we already got into the journey to help kids, and I think we like think that we can save the world. Like, do any of you feel that way? Like, I got in here to help, and if I need self-care or if I need to rely on someone else, I'm not doing it. And so then you don't feel like. But the other thing that I think was interesting talking with you was that sacrifice part means that you might have to be a line in your budget. Like, you might have to like stop spending so much money on something else so that you can do stuff for self-care. Like a sacrifice. Like, is that kind of like, do you think that?
Yeah, because it kind of got to the point where we weren't even, during that last placement, I felt like we weren't even really hardly surviving. And so it just got to that point where...
Well, and I feel like you have to do self-care so that you don't lose yourself. He says, we feel your words so much about being in survival mode. Yeah, right? Being in survival mode is the worst. Yeah, it's rough getting back to the place being parents that you want to be. How long after our placements left, how long do you think it was where we kind of got back to normal as a family?
It happened really fast, but in some ways it took a while. I'm on this high alert where you're always who's doing what. You're just in this level, like this constant level of high anxiety, you know, everything, or even your body to kind of return. When our last placements left, wasn't like for like a week, we felt like we just kept sleeping and sleeping and sleeping.
We did, and we actually, so like we go to see a family counselor regularly, which I totally encourage people if you're fostering, I totally encourage you to be seeking out counseling.
And a lot of times
hey, Erica.
A lot of times that's billed even like through the kids. The best therapists work with the whole family and not just the individual child to help the parents what the kids are going through.
Right, but it totally helps. I feel like it really helps us just to, I would tell her how we were just felt like we were sleeping all the time. And she's like, well, yeah, you are, because your body or stress and how much anxiety that you're taking on. And I think for that reason, like, slowly killing yourself. But if you don't get self-care, you are doing some damage to yourself, like some severe damage, probably more than you realize. Because I feel like after we got done, I feel like because we had to sleep all the time, I'm like, this isn't natural, this isn't normal. So I feel like we did some damage to ourselves that we didn't realize, and other people are trying to tell us to do it, and they're trying to help us, and we're like, nah, we can handle this, we're good.
Well,
does anyone else?
Part of it was with that last placement was supposed to be short term, and it kept going longer and longer and longer, and so like we kind of went into survival mode, like, yeah, just like push through. And then when they ended up staying, it was like, we can't keep pushing through like this. And then we were kind of in over our heads.
But I want to hear more from you guys. What do you guys do for self-care right now? I love Chelsea's idea of going to Target alone. I love that because it doesn't cost anything, and it is fun and it's exciting. But what are some other ideas that I want you guys to chime in on that, and hit the like button if you like that idea, because I think it's amazing. Just a great idea to go to Target or go to Walmart or go somewhere. Or I've heard people that have dates by themselves. Like they'll go to like a fast food restaurant or a restaurant and just have a date by themselves. Hey, Emily. So yeah, let us know what you guys do for self-care, or if you have any ideas for people for self-care. I like the Target idea. One thing I did want to talk about, while hopefully we still have our folks from Illinois, is yes, so Chelsea said that it's been almost 3 months, I guess, since their placement, and they're still pretty easily triggered, not the calm patient parents, and she wants to get back to that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I feel that. And it does. It takes a long time to get back to that. And I feel like we never had, like, because we still, the kiddos in our home still, we still have some needs that require some high levels of alertness. So I feel like I never have really fully returned to that.
Chelsea has all the good ideas. She said free yoga on YouTube. Yes. Great idea. I love that idea. You have the most, Chelsea gets like the gold stars for today. We need to like hand out gold stars. I wish there was a button on here that I could like gold star
there is
people.
I went to a mom's retreat last year. I think it was last year. And they had restorative yoga. And it was so funny because people didn't, then there was another retreat that I couldn't go to, and they said they were going to offer that. And everyone's like, oh, I can't do yoga. I can't do yoga. No, I can't do yoga. And I kept trying to tell people it's like a nap. Like the restorative yoga retreat for foster and adoptive moms was so relaxing, and it wasn't like you had to be flexible or in super great shape. It was just very calming and rejuvenating. It was amazing. One
thing that I did want to get to is Thanks, Chelsea. She said she found our website today. We get a gold star. Thank you so much. So, yeah, and for people that are just joining in on Facebook, because we keep having people pop in here that are new, our website is transfiguringadoption.com. We have all sorts of resources and tools that we're constantly growing out on there. So we have media resources, book reviews, movie reviews, and different things like that. It's something that caregivers are helping us to flesh out. So we're kind of spearheading the movement, but it's you guys that make it possible, and doing stuff like this Monday caregiver check-in every Monday. We started doing that to see where you gauge where you guys are at. So if you guys are watching this right now, either live or not live, we do it every Monday at 5 p.m. Rain, snow, Eastern time. So rain, snow, sleet, shine. We are driving back from vacation right now. So that's why it's Monday at 5. So we're like, hey, it's caregiver check-in time. We got to do it no matter what. We're always on YouTube live, and we're on Facebook live, and you can leave your comments in there. One thing I wanted to go to is, hey, Tyler. Hey, by the way, Tyler, it was amazing to see you this weekend. Tyler runs a nonprofit, if you guys don't know, that helps animals, and you need to go check it out, Fantastic Beast Foundation. Glad to have you watching on here.
The name change?
No, right now. What was I going to say? Oh, Southern Illinois. So you guys were asking about our first placement survival kits I saw on your Facebook page. And I just got that message, and I said I would change some things on the caregiver check-in to talk about that. So we have this thing that we did last year called...
the last 2 years.
The last 2 years, we call it foster placement survival kits. And so we give those to, we create those, we give them to agencies, and those are for new people that get their licensing. We give them to new people that are becoming foster parents so that they have tools and resources from the very start. Because as a foster parent, that's what I wanted. I wanted these tools to help me behaviors so that I didn't have to figure out stuff on my own or go research stuff. What we have in those kits are, we have not fast food, we have food gift card, we have like a fidget, a nightlight, we have some books and some other things that explain trauma to you. We have a children's book that helps you to talk to kids on their level. We also have Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, because our first tool that we ever created was a discussion guide using the Harry Potter series. Foster adoptive children made the discussion guide so that when you have older children like 11 and up, you can read the book with them and talk to them about issues. So that's some of the things that we have in there. Very helpful, very useful. We've gotten really cool reviews back on all the stuff. One thing that we're finding, though, is we're going to be discontinuing those this year because we're finding that when you first get into the foster care and or adopting, maybe you don't realize how much you're going to be dealing with trauma. I mean, anyone watching on here, did you guys have that experience? Maybe you're a more seasoned foster parent watching and you didn't realize the issues and different things you're going to be dealing with. I think for right in your first month or first week of being a foster parent, you're more optimistic that maybe just hugs and kisses are going to solve the problems, and you've raised other kids. So has anyone else had that experience? We definitely did when we first got into it, thinking we were going to be able to love on kids and that was just going to solve everything. Experience, either tell us your experience or give us like a bunch of likes if that was your experience. But for that reason, because people don't realize the issues that they're going to be coming up against, they don't appreciate the kids as much because they don't realize the value in them. Like the Southern Illinois group, you guys are saying, hey, we want these kits. What we're doing now is we're going to be creating calm down kits. A lot of the same stuff in the kits, we're going to change it a little bit, and it's going to go out to any parent. Hey, I'm seeing the likes like go all over the place. So we had foster parents that realize that. Totally. The calm down kits are going to have a few different things. Margie's talked with another gal that's a professional in Knoxville with helping families. Basically, she kind of helps families after they adopt or where they're not really in foster care, right? But when they've adopted, maybe from foster care or maybe in process. And she's a real professional on keeping families together and keeping them gelled and not having this disrupt. You guys are talking about inexpensive but very impactful things to put in the kits. I think we're going to keep the books, right, that go in the kits.
Yeah.
Like, we'll keep anything that Transfiguring Adoption has created, we'll probably keep in the kits because we really want to see those. Hey, Kyle, good to have you on here. We'll keep those in the kits, but I think we'll take a look at different things, like the gift cards might not stay in the kits, or they might change because it's a calm down kit now.
Although I think it's calming for the parents. So
it is calming
my
for
vote
the
is
parents.
that they're staying in.
What would you guys like to see in calm down kits? So right now we have in the kits we have a book by Karen Purvis. It's Connected Child, so that's written for parents that are going to be foster adoptive parents. Chelsea says paper plates, so that's speaking
yes,
to like
that's still one of the plans. My goal is to keep disposable dinnerware in the kits for that first few days so that you can work on bonding, attachment, getting to know the child, and then something for making sure that the dinner is covered for a first night. And then a lot of like fidgets, calm down, sensory things that will help a child to kind of regulate emotionally, to calm down, to de-stress, to be in a place where you can have an important conversation. Darren tells a great story with one of our last placements. We had a little girl that would literally just, it didn't have to be it wasn't like she did something wrong or anything. Just anytime there was a conversation of any kind of importance, she would get so anxious she would tear holes in her clothes. But if you gave her a fidget, she would calm down and she could, have a conversation.
And it was interesting because literally she was poking holes in her tulle dress at one time, and we were just talking about something like, and has anyone else had this experience where a kid gets so anxious while you're talking with them? Cush balls, Chelsea says, just found, they make those. Those are amazing. Let me get back. I'll get back to that. I love that you brought that up. So yeah, she was literally just poking holes through a tulle dress, and we were just basically talking about stuff like, what do you want to do for the day? What do you want to, and she got so nervous just talking to me about something serious. I just happened to have a fidget with me, and really, because we keep them in the car and stuff like that for when we do things. Oh, yep, there is. That's too funny. We do believe in them. You can see this because we have them. So I gave her actually one of these because we had it. Hey, Candace, glad that you're watching with us. I gave her one of these. It's a wooden fidget puzzle. That's what they're called, wooden fidget puzzle for people on Facebook, because I just showed it to YouTube. But yeah, we totally believe in these because they're durable. They're made of wood. They have elastic in the middle, and so kids can't really break them or destroy them, but they can sit there and just play with them while you're having a conversation and talking.
And older kids will get creative and try and make letters or different things. So I've seen it anywhere from like a 3-year-old to a teenager to myself.
Yeah, we use these too. But yeah, definitely something like this. She stopped poking holes because she could play with this instead of poking holes in her tulle dress. So it saved her dress, and it helped her. She actually focused better, and we had a great conversation, a lot of fun. We'll have stuff like this in the calm down kits. But Cush balls, Chelsea, I like the idea of the Cush balls. What else do you guys want to see in calm down kits as a foster parent? Thanks, Tyler. We like these. They're actually great. We're actually, the next topic we're going to talk about is, again, we'll talk about our trip to Universal Studios that's coming up. But this is one of the things that we have in our calm down kits because we use this with our kids at Universal Studios all the time. Because waiting in line can be really stressful for them with all the sensory stuff going on. And these little guys will save your vacation. Or Cush balls or things like that. You just have to know your kids and what they like.
Well, and that's part of sense in terms of sensory. For calming down, there's different types of sensory input that different kids need. So there can be different textures, there can be different tools, there can be different, sometimes...
pipe cleaners. Chelsea's saying pipe cleaners are great.
Pipe cleaners are great.
It's also great are straws. And what you get are the little puff balls and lay them on a table or something, or cotton ball, and you have them blow through the straw. Blowing out air through a forced unit is that common?
There's science for it. Yes.
There's science. There is science for
some kids,
it.
it's chewing on gum. We've got a couple in our house that chewing on gum, it's that input and the chewing and all that.
And that's another thing.
Down. And that's something that we're able to talk with the school and say, hey, this is a tool that our child uses. Is this something that they can do in your classroom? If not,
how much gum should you give them?
As much as possible.
Like usually, how you say, we even had Dr. Karen Purvis, when she was alive, would say as much as they want, safely.
Because there's more pressure.
There's more pressure, more chomping that calms them down easier. So what tools do you guys use to calm your kids down? If you were given a calm down kit to help you, try to, even if you're a seasoned foster parent, hey, Angela, glad to see you on here. Even if you're a seasoned foster parent or have a special needs child, because I know Angela is well-versed in this, what would you want to see in a kit when you first were discovering that you were a parent to a special needs child or a kid that was prone to get fidgety or just really anxious? What kind of tools have you used? Do you like to see used? Would you want to see? Because like I said, we're taking our kits and we're going to be making these new kits, because while the first foster placement survival kits were great, maybe long-worded for a title, people like them, they just didn't really see the value in them because they weren't coming up against the issues and the problems yet. So Southern Illinois group, that's what I was kind of talking about. That's what we're in process of doing that. We're having the issue where we've just seen over 2 years that agencies are reporting back to us that parents don't see the value in that. I do like the paper plate idea and a lot of people get upset about the green issue, that it's not green, but you can get recyclable plates and stuff like that. Like disposable dinnerware. The problem with, okay, I want to see all the parents on there. Comment, if you're not watching this live, comment below. And do you fancy yourself taking on the world? And if someone told you to go order pizza for your family, you wouldn't do it because you feel like you have to make dinner for them. You have to be Betty Crocker. You have to be super mom, super dad. You have to teach them how to wash dishes, so you're not going to use paper plates. And really, you need someone to give you disposable dinnerware so that you can say, okay, you know what, for 2 weeks, just 2 weeks,
just a few nights,
you're not doing the dishes because you got a bigger fish to fry, I agree. The kits can be so great for subsequent placements, and that's why we're just really trying to transition them out of the whole first foster placement mentality. I love this input, you guys. Thank you so much for inputting it. This is why we're doing this, is to check in with other caregivers and to check in with people that care about caregivers and just to get ideas on this. So thank you so much for this input, you guys. This is amazing. You guys are awesome. But yeah, so we'll be, Margie's looking at things right now. We have a lot on our plate for 2018. So as most of you know, everyone that works for Transfiguring Adoption are volunteer, including both of us who are the co-founders. So we're working as fast as we can to change over the kits, but it's as much as we can do while working part-time jobs too. So thanks, you guys. The other thing that we wanted to talk about is, real quick, is I'm trying to check on my time here. We're probably, I do want to talk about our Universal trip real quick. I know we did that last time, but I want to see, just let people know, because we are coming up to the end of January. Our website and go to, Angela says this supermom uses paper plates. Yes, there's no shame in it. Sometimes you need to take one. That's not, I think it has to do with like, what's the biggest issue, right? Like you want to figure your supermom or super dad, but sometimes there are bigger fish to fry, and let other people save the environment for a little while, because if our kids don't grow up and aren't able to socially interact properly with people, be contributing members of society, right now saving the planet doesn't matter if we don't have people to pass it down to. Is that fair? I think that's fair. Do you guys think that's fair? Like I guess if you agree, let's hear it. Like totally, like let's see some hearts and some thumbs up. If you don't agree with it, my email address is Margie@transfiguringadoption.com. Would love to Okay, maybe that didn't work, huh? There we go. Some likes and hearts there. Love it, guys. You guys are awesome. And again, I'm not, just to be clear, I'm not saying don't save the planet, and I'm not saying I don't care about that stuff. I'm saying we as foster and adoptive parents, we can't do everything. And so we're choosing this niche to jump on. And we've got to do stuff to make it better and work better for us, because the people that are saving the planet and making it a better place for us to be in, they're choosing not to look at children and in childcare, and that has to be fair. I mean, I can't get upset with them about stuff either. I think it works both ways, right? All right. Our universal trip. So I got sidetracked. Sorry, guys.
That we just did as self-care.
Not the one we did as self-care. We love the parks, but transitioning. If you go to our website at transfiguringadoption.com/vacation, in October, we're planning a trip to Universal Studios for 8 foster or adoptive families. Margie and I will not be bringing our kids because we're actually bringing 2 other staff people with us that love the parks. They're trauma informed. They get your struggles, what you're going through. And basically, we're going to take you guys around the parks and help you to have successful memories in the park, in both parks. So what this came about from was we heard so many people, we've heard so many people that are just upset because they hear other people going to Disney or Universal and they're having these big, great family vacations, and they can't do it because their kids just have behavior or trauma-caused issues. Thanks, Tyler. I love hearing that it's an awesome idea. We think so, too. We will never hear that enough. But it encourages us to keep going, too, let me tell you. So there are just so many kids. Like, we were just in Universal, and there are so many times we saw normal families that were having issues in the park because there's just so much sensory stuff going on. It does wear you out. It's tiring. We actually saw Tyler in the park, and he can attest to you just get wore out at points. And if you don't take care of yourself and do necessary precautions, you get upset, angry, and you can destroy your trip. What we're doing is we're taking 4 staff members to help your family manage the parks, create great, so that you can have family memories to talk about for years to come. The trip, you can check out the price of the trip. It's based on the number of people in your family. We're going to be staying on an on-site hotel, which is phenomenal because they're in the park and we see that you're having issues. Yeah, Tyler's even saying the parks are for a normal adult. It's so true. Like there were times we had to stop and just like we were almost starting to pick at each other. But it's interesting when people recognize your face in the park and stuff, because you have to watch yourself that you don't get too, like, you start snipping at each other, and as soon as we start snipping at each other, that's when they like come up and they're like, hey, you guys are those Transfiguring Adoption people, and you're like, not at our best. So we're on-site hotel, though. When you're having those moments and we see that your family's having those moments where you're starting to snip or your kids aren't doing well, we might advise you to go back to the on-site hotel because it's right there. You can go back, rest for a little bit, and then come back and join our group, and there's no harm or foul with that, and it'll save your trip. It's going to include food. It does, yeah, and then you'll have also, we have welcome kits. So a lot like our calm down kits, we're going to have some great tools for surviving amusement parks. And there's some use them for that trip, but you'll be able to use them in the future too. So we're hoping to give you tools and advice so that you can survive so many great trips in the future and just thrive and be successful. The trip is about $1,000 less than what Universal would charge for their normal stuff, and that's just I'm talking just hotel tickets and food,
not including staff and kits.
Right. So we're also including staff and the amusement park kits and different things like that with it, and it's still coming up way cheaper. So what we're also telling people is our travel agent called Thunderbird Travel out of Southern Illinois. They are offering $100 off the total price of the trip if you can get your deposit in before February. I know that's coming up pretty quick. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I could probably finagle you in if you can get in the first week of February. Finagle that deal for you and get you in. So let me know in the comments if you need that, or direct message me on Facebook or on whatever. My email address is Darren, DARREN, at transfiguringadoption.com. It's also on our website. $100 off the trip, though. That's pretty phenomenal. It's a $400 deposit. And it's going to be amazing, you guys, because you're going to have 8 other families that are with you. Has anyone else tried to go to Universal Studios? Does anyone have an interest in going to Universal Studios? I see like lots of people are watching us on YouTube and stuff. Like, do you guys like amusement parks? Like, is this something, I know we've had a lot of interest. I'm wondering, just people watching right now, are you guys interested in stuff like that? We're hoping that this will be an annual trip. We'll see how the first one goes. Like I said, there's room for 8 people. We're gonna, when we see you sign up, we have a questionnaire for your family to fill out, so we know like where you want to go in the park. Like, what do you want to see? I know some people really want to see the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Some people want to see, we had one question that was filled out, the Marvel Superhero Island real well. So it helps us rides we need to hit. It'll be a 4-day, 5-night trip. There is no way that you will see both parks in 4 days. It's impossible. But I don't know. Like, if you guys, so let me ask this question too. If you could choose between, we have, what are the 4 major areas that we have of the parks? We have the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. We have Marvel Superhero Island. We have The Simpsons. And we have Jurassic Park. Out of those 4, which would you rather go visit in the park? Like, leave a comment down below of where you would rather go out of those 4 areas. Margie and I have gone to the parks quite a bit, like I said, and we love it. We always have fun with our kids when we go. There've only been
always now.
After
we have learned some hard lessons.
We've learned some tricks. And we'd love to show those to you guys while we're at the parks. But definitely go check out www.transfiguringadoption.com/vacation and definitely get signed up so that you can come with us on this trip, because it's going to be amazing. We have some really great stuff in store. Just some amazing things. If we can, just what we have planned is going to be amazing, but I have some other tricks up my sleeve that I'm hoping pull through, and you guys are going to be surprised. It's just going to be a lot of fun. And then we're going to do this annually. And then can I tell them what we might do next year if this all goes well? Like,
there's a couple different ones that have been requested.
Like, we might do Disney. Like, Walt Disney Walt Disney World might be a trip next year in 2019.
Dollywood in Tennessee has also been
we might also do Dollywood in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. But that all is hinging on how well we do at this trip. But yeah, so let us know. Give us some comments, you guys. Let us know if you think that's a good idea. Tyler, I'm so glad you said it was a great idea. I want to hear from some other people if it's a great idea or not. The other thing that we wanted to talk about, if no one else has anything, because this is your time, you guys. So we have topics to talk about, so we're not just sitting here quiet. But if you guys have things you want to talk about as caregivers, let us know. Our second caregiver check-in that we've done, so we just figure probably the first few we're probably going to be doing all the talking. Last thing I want to talk about with you guys is just we saw a great article by a professional in the foster care adoption industry. Well,
it wasn't an article; it was a post. About an article that had nothing to do with foster care.
Right. So, wow, that was long. So she, on Facebook, we caught this gal. We follow her. She's amazing. Allison Douglas. She is an amazing individual to get information from with all sorts of great ideas. It's who we're working with our Calm Down kits as well. She was talking about an article that she saw about, is it called PAL? Pals. So it's a restaurant chain, right?
Fast food chain. It's only in a certain area of northeastern Tennessee, around, like, they have like 30 something locations. close to Kingsport, Tennessee, so not even close to like where we're at.
But the big thing that it was talking about was how they hire people and how they maintain them. And it just had some really, and the reason we want to talk about this article is because I think it really translates over to foster parents and our attitude toward foster parents. So one of the big things,
not just foster parents, she was talking about professionals in the field as well.
And let us know if you agree with this, because the first point that it was talking about with how they hire people for this restaurant is the best companies hire for attitude and train for skill. So they hire based on your attitude, and then they train your skill afterwards. Because there's so many times when there are people that want to come work for Transfiguring Adoption or do things, and I just think if they have the right attitude, and I'm thinking with foster parents too, if you have the right attitude, like that, like you're going to be able to do a lot if you have the right attitude and just know things. Like what do you guys think are the attitude a foster parent should have? Like, what do you think? Like, what's the right attitude? What do you think, Margie?
Flexible.
Definitely flexible.
Teachable.
Teachable.
And that's a big thing of what Allison was talking about. Was the rest of the article is talking about the training that they do, and it's very intense. And it's a fast food restaurant, but they do very intensive training. Their retention rates are amazing. Their quality is amazing. Their pace, in comparatively in their industry. The training.
Chelsea's saying compassion and empathy. I think those are huge.
Yes.
Like if someone has compassion and empathy, I think you can definitely train them to take care of kids from trauma backgrounds. But they have to have, you're right, you can't train compassion and empathy. That's something that you just have to have.
Yeah.
But yeah, like what Margie was saying, so going further into the article, the second point says even great people need constant opportunities for improvement. And I think when we think of a business, hey Debbie, we haven't talked to you in a long time. But I think when we're thinking of a business, like this article is talking about a fast food restaurant, saying that you hire, for those that missed it, the first point in this article was the best companies hire for attitude and train for skill. We don't think of that with foster parents because you just don't think of that with parenting, I don't think. Like, we don't want to think of our family. You have to take a look at people that become a foster parent, I think. The second point was even great people need constant opportunities for improvement. And I think that's so true with foster parents too, right? Like, we need chances to learn and find out, because there's so many times where, and Chelsea's been on here really vocal, there's so many times, right, that you need to be not only mom, but you need to be the dietitian, you have to be a counselor, you have to be a doctor, you have to be just like a physical therapist probably.
You're constantly researching to find out need and what needs to be done to meet that need.
I think we almost have to look at ourselves as a business in a way, and what I mean by that is we have to be looking at how we can improve ourselves and figure out how we can be better foster parents, because there's always how trauma affects the brain. I mean, it's not been too old that just finding out how much stress actually makes your brain smaller, puts holes in your brain. Hey, Kathy or Casey, I'm sorry. What am I saying? So the third point is leaders who are serious about hiring also have to be serious about teaching. Yeah, Chelsea says researcher to become more trauma informed. Yes. Yeah, you just have to, and it's not something that and you just don't, you guys are in my head. Maybe you're in our heads. We're in sync. Great people are just synced together, right? But yeah.
And the trauma-informed thing, it's everyone dealing with the child, and it's something that it's just really coming out, like how trauma impacts behavior, how it impacts learning. And there's so many people that deal with these kiddos on a regular basis, from the therapists to the caseworkers to the teachers to the foster parents, that don't necessarily have that training, and this is folks can actually impact the children's lives, help them to heal, help them to progress forward and become productive citizens, and move past everything they will always carry it with them, but
Well, and I thought it was interesting too what Allison said about the article relating to foster care and adoption. Didn't she say something to the effect of like about, okay, like for a fast food chain, why would you spend all this money to train someone? Because they're going to, the turnover rate, they're not going to work out. They're just short term. Idea of, yeah, but what price do you pay if you don't train them? And I think that's for our foster and adoptive parents too, is there could be the tendency, and I'm not saying that there is, but there could be the tendency to say, work out, we can't spend all this money on training, we've got all this other stuff to do, but what price do you pay if you don't train them, if you don't constantly have them learning about trauma behaviors and different things like that? What happens? I don't know. So
you don't know, you do know.
Well, I do know, like that's why we're in business, right? Have a nonprofit. But it's scary to think where things will go if we don't train our parents and have resources and tools available for them, I think.
Children have already been through trauma, and if the people aren't properly trauma informed, they actually cause more trauma. And if they can't handle the children and they move them on to another placement, that compounds the trauma, it puts them further behind in school, and it's just like this domino effect.
Do you have anything more to say on that article? I thought it was a great article. If anyone's interested in that article, I will try to remember if Pal's food chain, but you can definitely look it over. I will go ahead and I'll see if I can put it on our Facebook page, and I'll put it in the comments under this talk.
Can you put what Allison had to say about it? Because I think that's where it really applies, was how that applies to foster care and adoption. She said we could.
If I can find that. I'm going to put the link in there right now. So I have the link to the article, and I will try to find that post later, just so that you guys can find that and take a look at what Allison had to say. Again, she's phenomenal, absolutely amazing. But I think those are the only things that we had to say this time around, you guys. I hope everyone joins us next Monday for Caregiver Check-In. You guys are doing a job. I don't know, we've had so many people on here. I saw we had foster parents on here. We've had adoptive parents on here. And we've had people, oh no, we lost it. Bad area. Oh no, but YouTube is still on live with us. You guys are amazing. You guys have been live this whole time with us. Thank you. You guys are doing amazing. Please join in with us. Oh, there we are. We're back. We went through a bad zone. Hey, Facebook. I've seen adoptive parents on here. I've seen people on here that just care about other parents and want to help. Thank you so much for the part that you're playing in helping children. You are doing more good than you realize that you're doing. We want to encourage you that if you are a foster parent and life's looking rough right now, you're doing more good. You're giving that child a better future than they had yesterday. Same if you're an adoptive parent. If you're someone that cares about caregivers in this journey and you're watching us just trying to get more info, you're amazing, because we don't have enough people what's going on to care about our caregivers. So thank you for watching and getting more informed. You guys are all amazing. Please let people on social media know about our Monday Caregiver Check-In every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have things that you want to talk about, like Southern Illinois, I saw that their group page wanted to talk about the kits. We will figure stuff out, and we will talk about what you want to talk about. Make it your time. But we're going to clear our schedule every Monday at 5 to talk about what you want to talk about, even if it means talking in the car on our way back from vacation. So appreciate you guys. Definitely check out our vacation that we're doing for foster families to Universal Studios at transfiguringadoption.com/vacation. Thanks, you guys. We hope that we're helping you to nurture and grow your foster or adoptive family. And I'm going to say goodbye to